important for founding Belfast. However, one name you'll hear quite a lot of throughout this tour is the name of Queen Victoria. Belfast was obsessed with that woman. So much so we named so many things after her. Absolutely obsessed, and a healthy obsession, and a one-way obsession, to say the least. We named so many things after Victoria, such as Victoria Street, Little Victoria Street, Great Victoria Street, Victoria Square, Royal Landing, Queen's Arcade, Queen's University, Royal Victoria Hospital, Queensbridge, Victoria Bridge, Victoria Park. That's only the name of a few, that's only the ones I can remember. Most recent addition to this obsession is coming up on the left hand side now, Victoria Square Shopping Centre. A bit expensive for my taste because it's mostly designer shops inside. Although when the bank sends out my credit card all every month, there's clear reference my wife doesn't agree with me. Just that magical little piece of plastic that replenishes itself every month for her to spend. Now straight ahead you'll notice Belfast's leaning tower. That is the Albert Memorial Clock. It leads slightly to the right, to the rear, because it was built on Belfast City. Belfast was born onto swampy area, and a lot of the buildings around this area are slowly shrinking. The Albert clock began to tilt so heavily that they had to do some renovation work in 2002 at a cost of £2 million. They had to dig beneath the Albert clock, and what they discovered was Albert has tags. He has wooden tags underneath it that were put into the slates during construction, and over time they had rotted away. So they fixed up Albert's rotten tags, gave them a bit of a facelift. You'll not need any further. It's certainly not top over. 4 clock faces on the Albert Memorial clock. All 4 of them tell a different time, and not all of them even tell the right time. Customs House and the Customs House Square over to the right hand side. Customs House Square gave problem to Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, and the old Customs House there was designed by a man called Sir Charles Lanyon. That's another name you'll hear quite often throughout the tour. He was one of our leading architects during our boom. And as we swing around to the right, we're going to get the first look at our beautiful River Lagan on the left. The River Lagan separates Belfast into 2 counties. We're in County Antrim, we're about to go to County Down. The 2 best counties, maybe best, but I'm not wrong. Over on the left, you may notice the big fish. It's hard to miss. The big fish. Made of Portland stone itself, and it's ceramic. It's the salmon of knowledge. Made by Arms John of Kindness in 1999 to celebrate the return of salmon to the River Lagan after an over 200-year absence. Now they say if you go over and kiss the salmon of knowledge, you'll walk away with great wisdom and reflection. Yeah, right. I reckon don't kiss pieces of public art, because you will walk away with something, but rest assured it will not be knowledge. COVID or monkeypox or cholera, something like that. The reasons for the big fish is on the left. The Lagan Weir, constructed in the mid-90s at a cost of £14 million. It was money well spent. Keeps our tidal river at an artificial high tide. That helps with the cleanliness of the river and the water. It helps with the flow of the water. It helps with those salmon that return to spawn every year since the reintroduction. UK were actually given funding by the government. London wasted theirs, they got the money from that's still counting for everybody. But Belfast, we didn't waste ours. We built the Odyssey complex and we filled it up with nightclubs and bars and restaurants. Now since then it has changed over the years. It has become more family focused. There's 10-pin bowling, there's W5 Science Park, Science Experience, there's 4D IMAX Cinema. The touch on this side is actually the SSD Arena. That's a concert venue, but it also doubles up as a ground for ice hockey team. Yes, believe it or not, Belfast has an ice hockey team. Well, after the peak process in 1998, the council here wanted to come up with a sport team for both of the main 2 traditions to get bang support. And a bit bizarrely, they came up with the idea of an ice hockey team, which was bizarre because we don't play ice hockey here. We don't even know how to ice skate in this country. So believe it or not, that out personally to make up the teams. They had to draft in some players from North America and Canada and Scandinavia. And when they were designing the team, they had to look at the league. They were going to be playing teams like the Champions Steelers, the Quay Flyers, the Glasgow Brand, the Cardiff Devils. They wanted a nice punchy, catchy name to go along with all them. We sat down the table and there was one of them, the team started around and said, why don't we call our team the Belfast Bombers? Here's a nice little bit of reactions to the watching episode of a TV show called The News in the last 50 years. The birds turned Belfast Bombers before. Safe to say that suggestion went down like the Titanic. Instead what they done was they called it the Belfast Giants. After all the mythical legends of giants throughout the land. They actually used one of our most notable giants as a mascot for the team. The Giants of the they left and they take on the corner. That's not a ball maybe at the time, is it? Now we're going to stop at stop number 5. That is a bit of a mandatory stop on all of our tours. But if you're looking at off on any other stops throughout the tour, stomp your feet to let me know or make me aware one way or another.
So they don't automatically stop.
So we'll go back onto the subject of giants. Top field to notice one of our most notable giants here, our notable landmark of Goliath. And in just a moment, down to the right on the shipyard, you're going to see Samson. Our twin shipbuilding gantry crane. What a sight to behold. They came here in 1969 and 1974. Now they came flat pack, not from IKEA, but from a German company called Krupp. One stands at 96 metres, the other stands at 106 metres. And to give you an idea of how tall that is, you can get the Statue of Liberty on either of those cranes and you'll still have room to spare at the top. You don't realise how big they are until you get right beside them. The large H&W on the side of the crane, of course they stand for hello and welcome. Alright, that was one of them. They obviously stand for Harlan and Wood, the name of what was once the biggest shipbuilding company in the world. However, this isn't a lie. In the mid-90s, Harland and Wolff were brought over by the Scandinavian shipping company Fred Olsen. He thought he was going to change the letters to his own initials. Flying in the hello and welcome is lovely, but when you're flying out of Belfast, you look down to see FO scratched onto the side of the crane. It sort of gives a different emotion about us entirely. Thankfully, the tourist board is having one of that. Thankfully, not everybody gets that joke as well. Swing around here. I know a lot of you are getting off stop number 5 for Titanic Belfast. We won't drive away from it first, and then we'll return to it. Because that's just the way we do things here. Am I going to reach the green light? Possibly not. I'm so tempted to put the boot down, but sometimes I need to remember that there's 65 people on board. We'll go back through city centre. Before we get there, coming up on the right hand side, you may see the Nomadic. The SS Nomadic was a tender ship of the Titanic. She's known as the Titanic's little sister. She lifted the first and second class passengers out from the port of Cherbourg to the boat. The Titanic launched 31st of May 1911. However, she didn't set sail on her maiden voyage until April 1912. Her target destination was New York City. Sadly, just a couple of days into her maiden voyage, late at night on the 14th of April, the Titanic had struck an iceberg 700 miles off the coast of Nova Scotia. By the early hours of the morning of the 15th of April, just 3.5 hours after she struck the iceberg, the Titanic had already split in half, sank to the bottom, and took 1,512 lives with her. Now the people of Belfast, we built the Titanic, of course we felt very guilty and responsible for the disaster for a long, long time. Well, I mean, it has been over 100 years, and I would just say, well, it was all right when I left here. If you want to point the finger of blame, just bear in mind the captain was English. Also bear in mind that the chief navigator, who ignored multiple warnings of icebergs in that area for days, he was Scottish. And the iceberg itself was Canadian, so we're totally innocent the whole event. Although for any Canadians on board, they'll just say that, well, the iceberg came from Greenland. Soon to be in the possession of Mr. Donald Trump, apparently. And he wants Canada as well. Good luck with that one, sir. Canada, I love Canada. Many business people come from Canada. Canada is a wonderful place. Yeah. Mr. Trump, you seem to forget that Canada is actually part of the monarchy, and good luck with that one. He's a bit of an oddball, a bit of a nutjob, but let's be honest, if you're going to take the presidency of the United States as your first occupation, you need to be a bit nuts, wouldn't you? That has to be the most difficult job in the world. I do not envy anybody that even considers it. Anyway, we're going to go through city centre. Belfast was given city status by Queen Victoria. In all her time on the throne, she visited Belfast once. She visited Belfast for what was supposed to be 4 days. Her visit lasted 4.5 hours. Despite being the fastest growing town in all of Europe, we were number one in shipbuilding, rope making, linen, glass, tobacco, aerated water. You name it, we were number one. Did she give us city status? No, because she only stayed 4.5 hours. She much preferred Scotland. Before any Scottish people on board get overly confident with themselves, ask yourselves the question, did she prefer Scotland or did she prefer her Scottish gamekeeper? Now the story goes, and you can look it up, it's true, that when Victoria died, people close to her were allowed to approach her coffin and leave a little memory of her within the coffin. Someone realised that clasped to one of her breasts was a photograph of a man's face. Surely it was Prince Albert with whom she had 9 children. No, the photograph was of John Brown, Victoria's groundkeeper. Scotland, who could supposedly lift her up with one arm and place her on the back of her horse. Yeah, right. Believe that when I say it. Isn't it a good thing that the dead can't sue and I get to stay in the job? That's your royal scandal for today. But no, despite being the fastest growing town in all of Europe, Victoria did not give us the city status that we died for, we craved. We had to wait almost 40 years until you're going to notice on the left hand side pavement a large statue. It is of a woman. Stands on a ball, holding up a ring. What is it? Well, this is the statue of Harmony. She stands on the globe of the world holding up the ring of Thanksgiving. And this is called the Beacon of Hope, and isn't that lovely? Then you bring it to Belfast, of course. And then it gets nicknames like Janet on the Planet, Lula with the Hula, Your Doll on the Ball, or my personal favourite, best said with a Belfast accent, The Thing with the Ring. We really do have no respect here for public art whatsoever. None at all. As we continue on, we're going to continue on down Oxford Street, which was heavily formed during troubles. On the 91 in a minute, coming up on the right, the Leggett side court structured entirely of glass, which tells me it was built after the peace process in 1998. Before that, you wouldn't dare use glass in the building, simply was not allowed. And a reminder of why is coming up on the right hand side now. Our royal courts of justice, our high courts, surrounded by a wall. The wall in question is 10 foot thick, made from reinforced concrete and reinforced further with steel. This was built specifically to protect the courts from car bombs, the bombs of choice. Continue on, stop number 6, this is George Market coming up, as I said to you. It is a weekend only market, so it's not open. But if you want to stop your feet. Not surprised we'll be on top. This is May Street, the longest street in Belfast. Must have been one hell of a tape measure, measure that one. And we're well within our linen quarter. Well, we're just out of Titanic quarter, we're now in our linen quarter. Belfast has 7 quarters. Sounds a bit unusual, but bear with me. A quarter is not a mathematical quarter, it's an area. And this is our linen quarter. The reason why it was called our linen quarter is because we were once known as Linenopolis. We produced more linen than the rest of the world. And